Here comes Bronx. Bronx is definitely uncertain about what this is.
If the future looks anything like the Jetsons, we may have a robot maid helping us around the house someday. We're nowhere near there right now, but with more and more tech coming into our homes, we wondered, how would our pets feel about it, particularly when it's something like a robot dog? To find out, we headed to an empty warehouse, a soon-to-be pet daycare under construction, where these real dogs will get some one-on-one time with Sony's robot dog. And because first impressions can be misleading, our producer's dog Boomba is putting in some extra face time with Ibo, living under the same roof for 12 days. Here to give us a play-by-play of all the action is dog behavior expert Ellen Mahurin. Ellen, you are a dog behaviorist. Tell us a little bit about what we're going to see today.
Well, we are going to see how some real dogs interact with our robot dog. As an associate certified applied animal behaviorist, I do use fake dogs in my assessments, so I'm working with dogs who have problems. It would be really interesting to see how they interact with a dog that does move around like a normal dog, and could that be useful in my consultations, and also how might pet dogs interact with Ibo in a home.
Sony did a similar experiment in Japan. They introduced Ibo to 13 dogs and kept a close eye for initial reactions. Then they sent Ibo into 3 homes for 2 weeks. Today we'll compare findings and see if any of our dogs accept Ibo as one of their own, like in Sony's report.
So we have 6 individual dogs that we're going to introduce to Ibo, and then we're also going to do 2 groups of 3 to see how having other dogs around might affect their interactions with Ibo. I'll be looking for some specific, dog-to-dog greeting things that they might do, and some fearfulness, some comfort, some play behavior, and I'll be really interested to see what they do.
But first, let's meet our doggy lineup.
This is Essie. Essie is about 3.5.
That's Devin Conline, doggy daycare owner and all-around dog lover.
She's not huge into actually wrestling around, but what she does is she circles and barks at dogs when they're playing.
He's brought 6 dogs of all ages, breeds, and personalities to meet their robot counterpart. Essie is up first.
So, cautious. Didn't expect it to move, I think. She seems pretty relaxed and curious. Her tail is kind of neutral.
I noticed that she sniffed the robot dog's butt. Do you think that was an attempt at recognition?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when I use a fake dog, I find that universally, testing it with dogs that are nervous around other dogs and dogs that are very social, that they will do all these normal social greetings. They'll sniff the genital region, they'll sniff the face and the ears, and kind of go nose to nose a little bit. She's kind of like, I don't really know what this is, but it's not too scary, but I'm not too interested either.
Let's see how our second participant does.
Bronx is definitely uncertain about what this is. It's moving, so he's trying to figure out why it's moving. This kind of reaction I also see with robots that are much less dog-like, like the robot vacuums.
Really?
So because it's moving and making noise, they may do that kind of thing.
How much of this is just introducing one dog to another dog? Yeah. They sometimes react similarly?
They may, although because he's very dog social, I would not expect this reaction to a new dog. I would expect a lot more relaxed body language, maybe a little play bow here and there, some sniff and some approach avoidance just to give the other dog some space, but not because he's uncertain about that interaction. So we're going to bring in the last dog of this first group, the third dog. This is Mushu. Mushu is actually deaf, so the sounds won't bother him. So we'll see what kind of difference that might make. Here he comes now. Definitely straight to the rear end for a sniff. I think as it moved around quite a bit, he started to get a little more hesitant. Like, I'm not quite sure if this thing can come at me, if I should go near it. But, this is very expected for me. All 3 of the dog's reactions are curious and uncertain, and they're just not sure what to make of it. I think we'll see some big differences with the 3 together. Okay, so we've got Essie running right up to it because she's got some friends backing up here, and then Bronx some little barks, but not approaching it And where is Mushu? Mushu is saying no thank you
Mushu's
by
hiding.
not coming through the door.
With 3 dogs down and 3 more to go, the feeling in the room right now is mostly uncertainty.
I think they would need some time to get comfortable with the way it moves and how it sounds and be able to kind of ignore that and then maybe start some social interaction. This time we're going to try introducing Aibo to all 3 dogs at once. That way they will have their first impression while they have their social friends around. It should be interesting what they do.
All right, let's do it.
Henry goes right up, definitely trying to get a sniff around the face. You see Henry has a very stiff tail. It's only wagging at the end.
Yeah.
That is I am not sure what's happening right now, tail wag. It goes along with the rest of his stiff, body language. But the movements are, I think, not natural enough for them to feel comfortable.
Give us your final thoughts on this group. How did they do overall?
Well, we didn't see a big fear reaction like we saw with Mushu. These guys remained pretty confident and relaxed, but not terribly interactive. I feel like Henry did just a tiny little maybe play bow, so that was kind of the most dog-like interaction that I've seen from the 6 dogs.
There are a lot of variables here. Personalities, familiarity, exposure, it all comes into play. Still, all of our dog friends are at the very least apprehensive. There's no real signs that any of them think of Aibo as a living thing, or in some cases are even interested in it. But we won't debunk this just yet. Maybe Aibo takes some getting used to. That's where Boomba comes in. To see just how she adjusted to living with Aibo, we recorded snippets of their days together and got Ellen to weigh in.
She looks a little upset about it at the moment. There's some lowering of the head, head even with or lower than the shoulders, checking in with person, some blinking, some furrowed eyebrows. Now it looks like she might be hiding behind the table. Now approaching, sniffing, and then passing on by. I think she's getting a little bit more comfortable. She's not showing quite as much of the stiff, still body language. She's definitely moving around more.
So then what are your impressions overall after seeing how Boomba lives with this thing for several weeks?
Well, she definitely acclimated to it, so it wasn't novel and scary anymore. But she wasn't terribly interactive with it. Overall, I don't think that she thinks it's a dog. I don't know what she thinks it is, but that last clip where she was trying to rescue her toys from being near Aibo, that was really the first sign that I thought, well, maybe she thinks that Aibo can get the toy. But mostly not a lot of interaction, so she might just still be forming an idea of what Aibo is.
So there is some